Welcome in week 18 edition of the Cash Process. I'm your host, Ben Hostler. We are here to preview my favorite DFS slate of the entire season, regardless of sport, regardless of anything, the week 18 NFL slate. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new here, I do these videos every single week. Hand up, though. My apologies. Did not do a video last week. Holidays got the best of me. Wasn't feeling the greatest. So apologies on that. But we're back here for week 18. I'm going to try and do these videos throughout the playoffs as well. So I'll have a video up next week for the wildcard weekend. And then maybe like some quicker videos when it gets down to those smaller slates. And then I'll do like a Super Bowl video as well. So we do these videos every week. We preview the DFS slate. Like I said, if you guys are tuning in, thank you. Really appreciate it. Appreciate everyone that tuned in this year. I have so much fun doing these videos every week, and I've gotten a lot of love this year for the videos, so I really appreciate that. Like the video if you're watching. Like I said, this is my favorite slate of the year. This slate, I think, really rewards people that pay attention and, put the work in to figure out, where the good spots are on slates like this when we have so many guys resting, not playing, all that good stuff. So it does reward people that are in the trenches, which is why I enjoy it so much. First and foremost, before we dive into the slate, I'm going to go over some stuff. This might be a longer video because of how this slate is. This slate, in my opinion, is basically its own DFS sport, right? You really can't compare it to the past 17 weeks of NFL DFS. There's so many moving parts on this slate. There's going to be a lot of moving parts throughout the weekend. So it's kind of its own game. I'm going to try and run through the teams that we know have things to play for this week. This is not going to be an incentive video. I'm really not going to dive into incentives much because I think that can get kind of noisy. I mean, we've had sample sizes in the past of like Tom Brady teams where we know that Tom really made a point to try and feed his guys to get them their extra money. We just don't know that for all of these teams. Like we saw the Patriots rest, can't think of his name last week, offensive lineman, so that he didn't get an incentive-based trigger in his contract. We saw that last week. I just don't know. Like, we just don't know if these teams are motivated to pay these guys or not. I think that there's certain ones you can look at. There's like some Baker Mayfield has some potential incentives. They're in a must-win game, so you would assume he's trying to play good anyway. So maybe you could look at that. Odell Beckham, like he needs like 5 catches for a big incentive, but I just don't know. I don't know how much he's going to play. We know the Ravens will be resting people. I don't know. DeAndre Hopkins needs like 7 catches and 2 touchdowns. That's probably the most realistic one, in my opinion, of someone that could get one. I think Joe Mixon needs 2 touchdowns for incentive. We could maybe see him get that in a meaningless game here against the Browns for them. And then DJ Moore needs, I saw, I think like around like 200 receiving yards to set the single season record for the Bears. Maybe that could happen because I do think the Bears will be playing hard here. So I don't really want to dive a lot into incentives just because we don't know if these teams are really motivated to pay these guys this money or not. We do know, however, who was motivated to win these games to try and get into the playoffs or improve their seeding. So as far as teams that we'll start with teams we know are resting players for 100%, they will be resting guys. There's 5 teams. It is the Cleveland Browns. We know for sure will be resting people. Baltimore Ravens locked up the number 1 seed last week. They will be resting players. Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid's already come out and said they will be resting players this week as well. And then both teams in the San Fran and Rams game will be resting players. So we know those 5 teams will be resting starters this week. I feel like there's more teams. Maybe it was like this last year, and I just don't remember. But I feel like there's more teams that need to win this year as well. The AFC in particular, really, really interesting to see who gets in the playoffs there. Buffalo, not on the main slate, but Buffalo, can get in with a win or because they win the division, or lose and they're out of the playoffs completely. So really, really interesting spots here in the AFC. For teams that need to win this game and will be playing motivated football this week, Jacksonville Jaguars, Minnesota Vikings, Atlanta, New Orleans, they're squaring off. Green Bay needs to win and get in. Tampa Bay needs to win to get in. Philly is very motivated to win here, especially after losing last week to Arizona. Seattle needs to win, and the Dallas Cowboys can help themselves out by a win too. I guess you could lump Detroit in here too. They could improve their seed a little bit too, I think, if they win. So maybe we'll include Detroit on that list as well. So a lot of teams will be playing motivated football this week, outside of those 5 teams that I named that will be resting starters. So with all that said, the reason this video is coming out later this week is because I wanted to get a firm grip on specific spots that we know teams will be resting so we can see who's starting and all that stuff. So I can at least provide somewhat accurate information to you guys. So let's dive in here. Let's start off at quarterback. We do have Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott at the top here. Patrick Mahomes probably won't be playing, so you can take him out. Justin Fields, and then Brock Purdy won't be playing. You could take him out. So among this top tier, Philly does need to win. So you can definitely consider Jalen Hurts here at 8,100. I think you can consider Dak Prescott here at 8K as well. Great matchup against Washington. He shredded Washington on Thanksgiving Day. So there's a couple good spend up spots here. And I would honestly, to be quite honest with you guys, I would put Justin Fields in that tier as well. I really, really like Justin Fields this week. He's been playing the best football of his career the last few weeks. He's really been firing on all cylinders, him and DJ Moore. The Bears cannot make the playoffs, I don't think, but they can knock the Packers out of the playoffs. So we saw this exact situation late last season. The Detroit Lions on week 18, it was in the late window, I think Sunday Night Football. So they found out that they couldn't make the playoffs going into that game, but they could knock the Packers out. And they came out and they won that game and they knocked the Packers out of the playoffs. So I think we could see a similar effort from the Bears here to try and knock the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs. Justin Fields has been playing great. He's been playing for his job. I think that he's answered a lot of the questions that Chicago had of him. I think that if I had a gun to my head right now, I would pick that Chicago's going to lean towards bringing Justin Fields back next season and not drafting a quarterback with their top picks in this year's draft. So I think a Justin Fields and DJ Moore stack's really, really in play for me this week. So Hurts, Prescott, Fields, all top great options. And then we have some cheap guys too that we can consider. Nick Mullins, Minnesota needs to win. Detroit, we have some questions about their motivation in this game. Detroit's been getting thrown all over the past few weeks. And Nick Mullins, I think he played Detroit. Let me click on his game log. He played Detroit a few weeks ago, and I think I used him against them in cash. Yeah, right here, 2 weeks ago, week 16, had 23 DraftKings points despite 4 picks. And that is the Nick Mullins experience right there. You're going to get some turnovers, but he can accumulate passing stats with these weapons he has at his disposal. They need to win. So Nick Mullins way down here at, 5,100? 5,100 for Nick Mullins. Fantastic play. So if you don't want to spend up on one of those 3 guys I just named, I think Nick Mullins will probably be the top cash game option in specific for this week. So you can probably I'm going to put him in the mock cash game build that I do here. Let me go ahead and put him in. So Nick Mullins, great play. 3 really good plays at the top. You also have Geno Smith here in the middle at 6,100. Smash matchup against Arizona. Seattle needs to win. I think Geno Smith, I didn't mention this in my loose talk about the incentives, but I do think Geno Smith gets an incentive monetarily for making the playoffs. So, that could be some added motivation for him, but they need to win to get in the playoffs. It's a really, really good matchup. So you could put Geno Smith in as well. And then we do have a min-priced starter all the way down here for the Cleveland Browns. Jeff Driscoll, 4K, will be starting against the Bengals. Not sure if I'd play him in cash, but anytime you get a 4K quarterback, you're going to consider it, I think, overall. And we've seen Jeff Driscoll before. It's not like it's his first start. He's started games before. I do think he can run maybe a little bit as well. So you could file him on the quarterback pool as well. Let's move over to running back. There's a ton of cheap running backs this week. So I think that you're going to see in your cash game contests, I think you're going to see people play like Nick Mullins at quarterback, a couple cheap running backs, and then just jam in these expensive receivers. I think that's going to be the chalky build this week, just as of Thursday. So at running back, let's start let's start with the cheap guys, and then I'll work my way up. So we're not going to have Christian McCaffrey in this game. We're not going to have Kyron Williams in this game, and we might not have Elijah Mitchell also for the Niners here. Regardless, Elijah Mitchell is a little bit more valuable. So I think what we're going to see here from the Niners, we're going to see a lot of Jordan Mason, who is very, very cheap here. Let me see where he's at. Right here, 4,600. We're going to see a lot of Jordan Mason. We're going to see a lot of Ronnie Rivers, who is down here as well. And we're going to see a lot of Pierre Strong from the Cleveland Browns with presumably no Jerome Ford. And definitely don't think Kareem Hunt will be playing in that game. So that's 3 guys below 5K that are really, really strong options. Jordan Mason, Ronnie Rivers, Pierre Strong. So I want to put in for sure Jordan Mason. And I'm also going to put in Pierre Strong here at the flat minimum of 4K. So that gives us, we've allocated not a lot. Like, we have 6,000 per position left. That's without putting in a tight end at defense. So we're going to have plenty of room to spend here. I think Ronnie Rivers is a good play as well. You could consider him. So that's 3 cheap running backs. Moving up from that cheap tier, we have Zamir White here at 6K. Assuming Josh Jacobs does not go once again, we'll get a full Zamir White game. I think he's a good play. I think Zeke's a good play here. Should see a good amount of him as well. Tony Pollard and Kenneth Walker in this next tier up, 6,500 apiece. Kenneth Walker, like we said, Seattle will be playing motivated football here to try and win against Arizona. Great matchup. So if he's good to go, I like Kenneth Walker. I like Tony Pollard here at 6,500. Austin Eckler's all the way down to 6,600, which could be a little interesting. But I think I'll stick with my group of 3 really cheap guys, and then I like K9 and Pollard over Eckler here in this mid tier. Zamir White as well. I like him over Eckler, assuming that Josh Jacobs is out. And then moving up, Breece Hall. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the tweet. Breece Hall was really upset with his season. I feel like he really wants to play good. He's been playing really, really good the last few weeks. 7,200, good tournament play. Probably won't consider him in cash, but good tournament play. And then Rachaad White, Tampa needs to win here. Carolina has given up on the season, man. I mean, they looked so bad last week against Jacksonville. Travis Etienne busted off a 70-yard touchdown run against them. I think you could see that 100% from Rachaad White here, especially with Tampa needing to win. So Rachaad White will 100% be in my running back pool. I'll consider him in cash, but we'll see. We'll see. I want to see what happens with these receivers. So overall summary here for running back, we have 3 really good cheap options: Jordan Mason, Pierre Strong, Ronnie Rivers. And then in the mid tier, we have Zamir White, Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, like all those guys. And then at the top tier, I like Rachaad White and maybe Breece Hall. I would lump in there as well. So that's kind of my pool right now at running back. But I think these cheap guys are really, really tough to pass up on, given the roles that we should see from them. Moving on to receiver. So this is where I said I think you're going to see guys spend down at running back and quarterback and going to jam in these expensive receivers. We have CeeDee Lamb in a game. Dallas will be playing motivated football against Washington. He's going in my lineup. A.J. Brown. He's playing some motivated football here. Philly needs to win. It's a good matchup. St. Brown, I'm just not sure how much. I would have to put St. Brown behind CeeDee Lamb and behind Justin Jefferson as well. Justin Jefferson, Minnesota needs to win. He's been really, really good the last few weeks. Justin Jefferson's going in my lineup. So I'm spending up on 2 receivers this week. At least that's going to be my plan. Devontae is in play as well. Cooper Kupp, I don't think we'll play. Puka Nacua sounds like he's going to play until he gets that rookie record, which is only 30 yards, and then he probably will come out after that. So I won't be playing any Puka Nacua this week. Cooper's not going to play. So after these expensive tier of receivers, you have CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown, St. Brown. I guess that's probably my pool. Far and away, my 2 favorites, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. And then I told you guys before, really like DJ Moore. this week. He's at 7K. You could put DK Metcalf in this tier as well because Seattle will be playing to win here. But DJ Moore, man, really, really, really good spot here against Green Bay. You can definitely throw on Green Bay right now. And he's been absolutely crushing 25, 26, 33 in 3 of his last 5 games. Like DJ Moore this week for tournaments, probably won't be able to fit him for cash with these other 2 guys that I'm going to be playing. But I just wanted to make a note that I do really like that Fields DJ Moore stack in tournaments. Chris Olave, Saints will be playing some motivated football here at 6,700. I could see him getting some ownership. All the Seattle guys, I think Lockett will pop here at 5,600 more so than Metcalf at his price. So I think you could see Tyler Lockett being pretty chalky this week. I think you could see Jaden Reed getting some ownership here as well at 5,700, given that the Packers need to win. So in the mid tier, in terms of like chalk, I think CD, Justin Jefferson, and maybe like Devontae, those guys will get some ownership at the top. In the mid tier, you're going to see Tyler Lockett and Jaden Reed, I think, really suck up a lot of the ownership. I think moving down here further, Drake London, I mean, the Falcons need to win. So you could see him at 5K, definitely get some ownership. I like JSN again. I mean, he's come on the last few weeks, and I think you could consider him there against Arizona. There is some cheap guys that I want to bring up. Like, and when I say cheap, I mean really cheap. One, Cedric Tillman. We don't know how good the quarterback play will be from Cleveland, but they're not going to have Amari Cooper in this game. They're not going to have Elijah Moore in this game. They're going to have to like play some guys. So Cedric Tillman does look like he at least has some NFL ability. He's at 3,900, but more importantly, moving on down, I guess we could bring up this guy, Bo Melton. I mean, he went off on Sunday Night Football. I think he used to be on Seattle back in the day. Someone could correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I do think he used to be on the Seahawks, Bo Melton. There was 2 guys I wanted to bring up at receiver down here. First and foremost, Ronnie Bell from San Fran. We've seen him out of Michigan, scored multiple long touchdowns in the preseason in his career, I believe. Only 3,200. So I definitely think we could see some Ronnie Bell action this week at receiver. And then given that Jacksonville's playing to win here, I do think there's a chance that Christian Kirk, we'll see as we get closer to the weekend. I think there's a chance Christian Kirk comes back this week. Let's see what this says here. So he was designated to return from injured reserve, and the Jaguars reportedly hope to have him back for Sunday's game against Tennessee, but it's far from a sure thing. So there's an outside chance Christian Kirk plays this week. He's $3,000 on DraftKings. So if Christian Kirk does come back and play at $3,000, you will be plugging him in your lineup. If he doesn't, I think you can settle on someone else, in this mid tier. Moving on to tight end, probably not going to see Travis Kelce, probably not going to see David Njoku this week. So you could take those guys off. I do think you'll see Sam Laporta. He has like an outside chance at like the rookie tight end record. I don't really think it's sustainable. I think it's like 200 receiving yards. So outside chance, but unlikely he gets it. He's in play for tournaments. Trey McBride is obviously in play. He continues to have a fantastic role. So definitely put Trey McBride in there. And then you can put Evan Ingram in play as well, given that Jacksonville needs to win this game. So those 3 guys there in this 55 to 6K tier are in play for me. We do have some cheaper options as well. Chika Conquo's right there at 3,500. You can look at him. Johnny Munt has looked good since TJ Hawkinson's went down. He had 7 targets on Sunday Night Football. He got lucky to score a touchdown, but 7 targets at 3K against Detroit. Like, I'm definitely, a little bit interested in there. You have Gerald Everett up here as well at 3,900. Continues to see a strong role for the Chargers with their receivers banged up. So you can consider him for cash games. And then from the Rams, Davis Allen with no Higbee, I think you can consider him as well. He's only 2,500. So I actually want to put him in my mock build here. I'm not saying on Thursday I'm going to play him in cash, but just for the sake of the video, I do think he's in play. I love to play cheap tight ends, as you guys know. So for 2,500, I'm going to put him in the mock cash game build here. Finish off at defense. I mean, I think Dallas is in play. Obviously, like, we're going to have money to spend. But overall, I think the Chargers against the Chiefs backups. I think the Bengals against the Browns backups. And then the Patriots. I think that'll be the most popular spots for defense this week. So we'll go ahead and put Chargers in. So you guys can see my mock cash game build here. Nick Mullins, Jordan Mason, Pierre Strong, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Davis, Allen, Chargers. That gives you 6,600 for 2 more spots. So I definitely think you could play Rashad White if you want to. You could play Chris Olave if you want to, and then still have plenty of room. You could even get up to, another one of these expensive guys if you wanted to, and put in a more mid-tier option. So we'll see how things shake out by the time we get to the weekend, but this is along the lines of something I'm considering playing on Thursday. Thank you guys for tuning into the video. If you made it this far, drop a like, subscribe to the channel so you know when I go live, when I post other videos. It really does help us out. Like I said, I'm going to try and do some more videos for this, for the playoffs. So I definitely will have a video next week for the wildcard slate. We'll see after that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Reminder, if you want to sign up and you want to tail my lineups, ACs, Matt's, all of our analysts over there at DFS Karma, if you want to tail our lineups this weekend in our Week 18 contest, sign up, dfskarma.com/pricing. We also have golf back. Golf starts this week. AC, very, very good at golf. I'll be contributing to some golf stuff this week as well. So you'll get access for one price to NFL, NBA, golf, all the stuff that we're doing over there. Baseball will be coming up soon as well. So dfskarma.com/pricing for that. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week for the playoffs.